Yes.
I have a question that's kind of a physical question. You know, when you talk about quantum physics and its interpretation of parallel universe, you have to remember that you have to act on a very small scale, angstrom. Here we don't see any quantum physics at all. And, you know, would you just more describe your representation of quantum physics, multiple universe concept as a metaphorical interpretation?
You could say it's metaphorical. I mean, it's, you know, I'm more of the artist, if you will. I'm just interpreting the script and I guess making it my own as the director of the film. So yeah, I would definitely say that. I mean, this person here is definitely more versed than I am in quantum physics. There's no doubt about that, yeah.
If we assume that we're living in parallel universes, I'd like to ask you, and that these universes are all influencing all of us all the time, how do you theorize that our judgments being influenced, our attitudes about morality being, how would you theorize that they're affecting us as we sit here and affecting you right now, if we're in the middle of these parallel universes?
My guess would be not one little bit. I don't think they interact on that level. It would take an event, or like say a vortex is portrayed in the movie, for any type of interaction to be possible. Now, I'm quite positive there are areas on the planet where there are natural vortexes, say for example Sedona, Arizona. People that have been there very commonly feel energies at play there, and it's reported that a lot of things pass through there, appear out of nowhere.
I should bring this in April. I think the film is going to play in Sedona.
Bingo, you know, it'll probably play well in Sedona. But to answer your question, there probably are places where it's a little bit thinner of a wall between the different dimensions or universes, and perhaps some of the ancient mystic cultures that we know about, the Middle East or ancient India cultures, had a way of communicating between these different realms, which is, you know, where their concept of gods or higher powered entities came from, that they learned from. And that's just an interpretation of, you know, where these entities could have come from. Now, we know that most of the major religions on the planet, they weren't founded on some guy who grew up with all the other kids in the neighborhood and just learned more all of a sudden. It's not the way it worked. It was, every religion is founded by some being, not from here, generally descended from the sky with greater knowledge that helped to raise the civilization he came in contact with. That's a pretty common theme. And, you know, way back then, with the tools and the knowledge that they all had, yeah, that's a god. We're a little bit more educated now. We have technology that lets us know it's not all magic. And so we can easily relate to the concept that maybe these entities or beings that showed up before are aliens, or interdimensional travelers, or bleed-overs from another universe. That's not a stretch of imagination at all. If any of you had read anything by Jacques Vallée, his book Dimensions is a very good example of old European tales of, say, gnomes and elves and mythical creatures we grew up listening to stories of, that quite possibly are interdimensional beings. You know, all the accounts of run-ins with them that are accounted in fairy tales throughout the ages and myths and legends that are passed along, when you break it down and listen to what the details of the story are, they're not that dissimilar from what we hear of alien encounters and contactee statements of what they've been through. And again, it reverts back to the tools available to the people in contact at the time, the knowledge that they had, and you know, how they dealt with what they were presented with. Anytime you're presented with something that far out, you're going to try and relate it to it in the terms that you're comfortable with. You're going to try and make it something more human to you, because that's how your mind automatically wants to accept it.
Well, I'll tell you, in this film, of course, you know, it's technology played a key part in what we saw.